The night was quiet and cold and the small village seemed asleep under the heavy sky. A poor young girl sat alone inside her broken house listening to the sound of wind passing through the cracks in the wooden walls. Her home was small, barely holding together, yet it carried every memory of her life. Her parents had died when she was still very young, leaving her with nothing except courage and a heart that refused to turn bitter. Every morning she woke before sunrise, washed her face with cold water and sat near the small window stitching old torn clothes. Her fingers were rough from years of work, yet her movements were gentle. She earned just enough to survive. Some days she ate a simple meal, some days she slept with hunger resting beside her, but even in her hardest moments she never complained. She believed that pain was temporary and kindness was permanent. That evening rain began to fall slowly at first, then harder. The wind grew stronger and the oil lamp inside her house flickered. She wrapped her thin shawl around herself and prepared to sleep when suddenly she heard a knock at the door. It was soft, hesitant, as if the person knocking was unsure whether to disturb her. She stood up slowly, her heart beating faster. No one usually came to her house at night. She opened the door and saw a strange man standing there holding the hand of a small boy. Both were soaked in rain. Their clothes were simple, their faces tired. The boy clung to his father, shivering from the cold. The man spoke softly, apologizing for the trouble. He said they were travelers and all the inns in the town were full. He asked if they could stay for just one night. The girl hesitated. She looked behind her at the empty room, the small pot of rice, the single blanket she owned. She had almost nothing, yet when she looked back at the boy, his lips trembling, his eyes filled with fear, her heart answered before her mind could. She stepped aside and welcomed them in. She lit the lamp brighter and offered them a place to sit. The man thanked her repeatedly. The boy looked around with curiosity and relief. She cooked the last rice she had, adding extra water to make it enough for 3 people. She served the food quietly, giving the larger portion to the child. They ate in silence, broken only by the sound of rain hitting the roof. The man watched the girl carefully, noticing how she ate slowly, pretending she was full. He understood her sacrifice but said nothing. That night the girl spread her only blanket on the thin mattress and insisted the man and his son use it. She lay down on the cold floor, closing her eyes and listening to the quiet breathing of strangers she had chosen to trust. As she lay there she felt cold yet strangely warm inside. She did not know who they were or where they came from. She only knew that for one night she had protected someone weaker than herself. Morning arrived softly. The rain had stopped and sunlight entered through the broken window. The man stood near the door preparing to leave. He called the girl and thanked her with a seriousness that felt heavy. He took out a small folded paper and handed it to her, saying that kindness never goes unpaid and that one day this paper might help her. She smiled politely, not fully understanding his words. After they left she cleaned the house and returned to her routine. The paper remained folded and forgotten in a corner. Life continued as it always had. Days turned into months. Her health slowly weakened from years of exhaustion and lack of food. One winter morning she collapsed while working. A neighbor helped her back home, but she had no money for medicine or treatment. Lying weak on her bed she remembered the paper. She opened it carefully. Inside was an address and the name of a large company written neatly. Her hands trembled as she held it. With the little strength she had, she traveled to the city. The journey was long and painful. When she finally stood in front of the massive glass building she felt small and invisible. People in suits passed her without noticing. She gathered her courage and entered. When she mentioned the man's name the staff suddenly became serious. They took her upstairs immediately. Inside a luxurious office she saw the same man standing near the window. He turned around and froze. For a moment he said nothing, then he walked toward her with respect in his eyes. He told her that night had changed his life. He revealed that he was a CEO traveling anonymously with his son after losing his wife. He wanted to see the world through simple eyes and had found humanity in her small house. He arranged her medical treatment, paid for her education and gave her a job. She healed slowly, not just physically but emotionally. Years passed. The poor young girl became a confident woman. She never forgot the cold floor, the empty pot or the rainy night. She used her success to help others, opening doors just as she once had. And every time someone knocked at her door in need she remembered one truth that had shaped her destiny: kindness given in darkness always returns as light.